Have you ever noticed that sometimes the thing that hurts us most in life is not a major event, not a loud and dramatic loss, but just one very small sentence spoken at a very wrong moment? There are wounds that do not bleed. They leave no scars on the skin, yet they remain there silently, hurting for a very long time, and sometimes hurting for a lifetime. Words were born to connect human beings to one another. A gentle sentence can allow someone to live one more day in lightness. But those same words, when mixed with anger, can become an invisible blade. No one sees the blood, but the wounded person remembers clearly. Strangely, we rarely hurt strangers. We tend to hurt those closest to us: a lover, a relative, family. Those who chose to stay, who have been tolerant, who have endured, because we think they will understand. We think they will overlook it. We think that they love us enough. But the closer someone is, the deeper the wound. Because they are not guarded, because they opened their heart. There is a truth very few people are willing to admit. Many relationships do not collapse because of betrayal, but because of seemingly ordinary words, repeated again and again in moments of losing control. We often say, "I was too angry then, I didn't mean it." But words do not distinguish between intentional and unintentional. They only know how to leave your mouth and leave consequences behind. The Buddha taught that when the mind is still on fire, the mouth cannot speak wholesome words. Therefore, silence in anger is not defeat, but wisdom. It is knowing how to stop before creating more karma. It is knowing how to let go of a sentence in order to preserve a relationship. Indeed, there are hurts that cannot be erased by two words. "I'm sorry." Not because the other person refuses to forgive, but because trust has been cracked. Think about it. A cup that has been cracked, even if glued back together, is no longer whole as before. An apology may soothe the pain, but the mark in the heart needs a very long time. And sometimes, people no longer have enough trust to wait for the wound to heal. Have you ever asked yourself, why has that person grown more and more silent? Why don't they talk like they used to? It is not because they have become cold. It is because they have spoken enough and been hurt enough. Those who are deeply disappointed do not argue. They quietly withdraw. And by the time you realize it, the distance has already grown too far. So if today you are angry, try saying nothing at all. Not to suppress yourself, but to give your mind time to settle. Like a glass of water that has been stirred cloudy, if you keep stirring, it will never become clear again. But if you set it down, the dust will settle on its own. The water will clear on its own. The human mind is the same. When angry, do not speak. When tired, do not decide. When hurt, do not hurt others. Letting go of one heated sentence is preserving a portion of merit for yourself. You do not need to be right all the time. You do not need to win every argument, because some forms of being right cost a very great loss. Life does not need more people who speak well. Life needs people who speak less and understand more. If you can, try asking yourself before speaking a sentence, if these words came back to me, could I bear them? Just pausing for one breath like that can spare you a great deal of unnecessary suffering. The Buddha did not teach us to remain silent forever. He taught us to know when to speak and when to stop. And sometimes spiritual practice is not found in temples, but in the very moment you choose silence instead of harm. If you are still listening now, perhaps in your heart you're carrying a sentence you never had the chance to say, or a sentence you already said and wish you had not. It is all right. We are all people learning how to live. From today on, just speak a little more slowly, a little more gently, and love one another a little more. That is enough. There are angers that do not hurt anyone immediately, yet quietly destroy many things. Anger solves nothing. There is something most of us have experienced at least once. That moment when we are so angry, we no longer recognize ourselves. At that moment, the heart beats faster, the breath grows heavier, and in the mind, there is only one thought. I have to say it to feel relieved. I must react now. I must release this to feel lighter. But have you noticed? After the anger passes, things rarely become better. Anger, in truth, is not strength. It is the sign of an inner world losing control. And deeper still, it often begins with an ego that has been touched. We are angry because we feel misunderstood. Angry because we feel disrespected. Angry because things did not go our way. But the sad part is, we rarely pour that anger onto strangers. We pour it onto those closest to us, a partner, parents, brothers and sisters, those who have stayed with us long enough for us to believe, no matter what I do, they will endure it. Their tolerance becomes the very reason they are hurt the most. Have you ever looked back and asked yourself, why are the harshest words I say always spoken to the people who love me most? Not because they deserve it, but because we rely on their love. Yet love, no matter how deep, is not something that never runs dry. Each time we become angry, we think we are simply releasing frustration. But in truth, we are paying a very great price. We lose affection, because words spoken in anger rarely have a way back. We lose reason, because in anger, we no longer distinguish right from wrong, only winning and losing. And most importantly, we lose merit. The Buddha taught that a single moment of anger can burn away the virtue accumulated over many days. Anger is like holding a burning coal and throwing it at someone else. The first one burned is your own hand. There is a very ordinary story like this. A man, after a long, exhausting day at work, came home and found things not as he wished. He raised his voice at his wife. She remained silent. The children quietly retreated to their rooms. That house did not echo with shouting that day, but it also no longer held warmth. A few days later, he noticed his wife spoke less. His children avoided his eyes. He did not lose his family in a single moment. He lost them little by little. Anger does not destroy instantly. It erodes gradually. Until one day, when you turn back, what has been lost is no longer easy to find again. The Buddha did not teach us to become people who never feel anger. As long as we are human, we will have emotions. He taught us what to do when anger appears. Not to fight it, not to suppress it, but to pause. Pause to take one deep breath. Pause to not speak what you will regret. Pause to return and look at yourself. True strength is not the person who speaks sharp words, but the person who knows how to endure when endurance is needed. Endurance is not accepting defeat. Endurance is giving yourself more time to be clear. There are moments when simply saying nothing prevents a rupture. There are moments when stepping away for a few minutes saves a relationship. Anger does not solve problems. Only awareness can do that. When you learn to observe anger instead of chasing it, you will notice something very strange. Anger rises very quickly, but it also fades very quickly if you do not feed it with words and actions. Like a flame without wood, it will extinguish itself. And when the anger passes, what remains is not victory, but peace within. In the end, the one who wins is not the one who speaks the most, but the one who keeps their mind steady. If today you are carrying anger in your heart, but try asking yourself just one question. This anger, is it worth trading a relationship for? If you can pause at that question, you have already walked a very long way on the path of awakening. Not everything you try to hold on to is truly cherishing. Letting go at the right time, lightening life, calming the heart. There is something very strange. We are often tired not because we do too much, but because we hold on too tightly. Holding on to an expectation long expired. Holding on to a relationship that has grown cold. Holding on to something that passed long ago. Yet in the heart, we still refuse to set it down. We often tell ourselves, try just a little more. Endure just a little more, and things will be different. But have you ever asked yourself, different how? There are things not because we have not tried hard enough, but because their nature can only be accepted, not forced. Like the rain, you can open an umbrella, you can wait for the rain to stop, but you cannot command the rain to cease. Life is the same. There are relationships where you have given enough, endured long enough, stayed silent deeply enough, but the other person does not return, does not listen, does not change. And then you ask yourself, why does letting go hurt so much? Because letting go is not only leaving a person, but abandoning a hope you have nurtured for a very long time. The Buddha taught that suffering does not lie in losing, but in attachment. We hurt not because that person walked away, but because we are still holding tightly to an old image of someone they are no longer. There is something that must be said very gently. Not everyone who comes into your life is meant to stay. Some come to teach you a lesson. Some come to reflect you back to yourself. And some come only to remind you, it is time to let go. Enduring a little is not enduring endlessly. Endurance is giving your heart more space to see things clearly. When we endure at the right time, big matters can become small. But when we cling for too long, small matters can become deep wounds. Some people refuse to let go and stretch their suffering over many years. Some refuse to set something down and lose their own peace. Do you know? Letting go at the right time is not losing. Letting go at the right time is saving yourself before you are exhausted. Like someone gripping a rope too tightly. The rope cuts into their hands. Blood begins to seep, yet they still refuse to release it because they are afraid of falling. When the truth is, if they simply loosen their hands, they have long been standing safely on the ground. There is a very ordinary story like this. A woman once clung to a relationship already cracked. She believed that if she loved a little more, sacrificed a little more, the other person would return as before. But as the years passed, what returned was not love, but exhaustion. Until one day she chose to let go, not because she stopped loving, but because she no longer had the strength to keep hurting herself. The day she released her grip, there were no fireworks, no instant liberation, only a very strange feeling. Light. Light like setting down a backpack you had carried for a very long journey. Letting go does not take value away from your life. On the contrary, it gives you backspace to breathe. The Buddha did not teach us to let go of everything. He taught us to let go of the right things. Let go of what no longer nourishes. Let go of what only drains you. Let go of what keeps you living inside pain. And once you have let go, you will see something very peaceful. The sky is still blue. The days still pass, and you are still whole. Sometimes what makes us tired is not the long road, but carrying too many unnecessary things. If today you are standing before a difficult choice, try asking yourself just one question. Is this helping me grow or wearing me down day by day? The answer you already carry within your heart. You only need the courage to listen. Letting go at the right time is not giving up. It is choosing peace. And when the heart becomes light, the road ahead naturally feels far less rough. If you're still listening up to this point, stay with me. The next part will be lighter. Some people come not to stay, but to teach us something. Karmic connection and relationships. Some people step into our lives very gently. So gently that we don't even realize it is a karmic connection. And there are also people who leave very quietly, so quietly that we keep thinking, they will return. Karmic ties are strange. They do not arrive with noise, nor do they announce themselves when they leave. The Buddha taught that when a connection comes, cherish it. When it ends, let go with calm. It sounds simple, but to truly do it is an entire process of learning to understand your own heart, We often think love must be held together by promises, by commitments, by beautiful words. But at some point, we come to realize a sincere affection does not need noise. It does not need to be named every day. It does not need to be displayed before the world. It only needs to remain when things become difficult. Some people speak beautifully, promise many things, but when we are most exhausted, they disappear. And there are also those who promise nothing grand. They simply walk quietly beside us, through scorching days, through long seasons of rain. Those who are sincere often do not speak much. They show it through their presence, by not leaving when we are no longer at our best. But ironically, we often realize that value too late, not because we do not know how to appreciate, but because we assume everything will last forever. We assume that person will always be there. We assume that love will not change. We assume we still have plenty of time. Until one day when we turn back, the empty space is already there. Have you ever asked yourself, why was I so careless when we were still together? Not because you did not love, but because you never imagined losing them. Karmic connection is not something you can keep by gripping tightly, nor is it something that returns just because you cling. There are people who come at the right time to walk with you for a stretch of road, and when that stretch ends, they turn in another direction, not because anyone is wrong, only because the karmic bond has completed its course. The fate has reached its end. Letting go in that case is not coldness. It is respecting the connection that once existed. There is a very ordinary story. Two people were attached to each other for many years. Not always happy, but close enough to believe they would go very far together. Until hardship arrived. Pressure, exhaustion, disagreements. One person stayed. The other gradually stepped back. No major arguments, no clear betrayal, just no longer walking side by side. The one who stayed hurt from trying to hold on. Only the one who left was tired from no longer wanting to continue. In the end, they learned a costly lesson. Love cannot be sustained by effort from only one side. When one person no longer wishes to stay, letting go is the lightest way for both. The Buddha taught, do not force what has already left your karmic path, because forcing only creates more suffering. Letting go does not mean erasing everything. Letting go means no longer resenting, no longer tormenting yourself, no longer asking, what if? Letting go means accepting that there are people who are very good, but not meant to walk with you to the end. And that does not reduce your worth, nor does it deny the beautiful days that once existed. A beautiful karmic bond is not measured by how long it lasts, but by how sincere it was while it was there. If today you are holding on to a relationship that brings you more exhaustion than joy, try listening to your heart for a moment. Ask very gently, is this person growing with me, or slowly draining me? That question is not meant to force you to leave. It is meant to help you face the truth. Some connections, if you let go, hurt once, but if you keep holding on, will hurt for a very long time. In the end, any connection that is meant to stay will naturally remain. No need to cling, no need to grasp. And when you learn how to cherish when a bond comes and remain calm when it leaves, your heart will become much lighter. Light enough to move forward, light enough to open again, and light enough to welcome new connections at a better time and a better fit. Maybe the circumstances don't change, but the way we see them can. Happiness comes from the mind, not from circumstances. There is a very common misunderstanding that almost all of us have once believed, that if our circumstances improve, we will be happier. We think that when we have more money, when our job becomes more stable, when we are recognized by others, when life feels more complete, then our heart will be at peace. But then, even after gaining part of those things, we still feel uneasy, still worried, still lacking. Not because you are not enough, but because your mind has not yet expanded. The Buddha taught that happiness does not lie in whether you have more or less, but in whether your heart is wide or narrow. In the same circumstance, one person suffers, another remains at peace. Not because the other is luckier, but because their heart is large enough to contain it. Afflictions in life are actually like salt. Imagine this. One spoonful of salt dropped into a small glass of water makes the water too salty to drink. But that same spoonful of salt, if poured into a vast lake, is almost undetectable. The salt does not change. What changes is the capacity of the water. Suffering in life is the same. The issue is not how big your problem is, but how much your heart can hold. When the heart is small, even a small matter is enough to keep you awake at night. When the heart is large, even a great upheaval passes, and you can still stand firm. But how does the heart become large? Not by pretending to be strong, nor by acting as if it's fine. The heart grows when we compare less. Comparison is the deep root of unease. We compare ourselves to others, compare income, compare status, compare happiness, even compare things we only see on the surface. And then, we forget that each person is living in different circumstances with different lessons. Comparison makes us feel we are always lacking, always behind, always inferior. When in truth, life is not a competition to see who moves faster. Life is a journey for each person to learn their own lesson. Some people have a lot of money, but no peace. Some live very simply, yet their hearts are very light. Living simply does not mean living in lack. Living simply means not weighing yourself down with unnecessary desires. When you expect less, you are disappointed less. When you demand less, you hurt less. There is a very ordinary story. A person once chased after career, chased after achievements, chased after standards set by society. Busy every day, under pressure every day, thinking every day. Just a little more effort. Until one day, that person became so exhausted that they could no longer feel joy in small things. A meal no longer tasted good. An afternoon no longer felt peaceful. Even a conversation became heavy, and then they stopped. Not because they gave up, but because they realized they were living too fast for their own heart. When they began to slow down, compare less, try less to prove themselves, chase less after others' approval, something very strange happened. Life did not instantly become better, but the heart became lighter first. And when the heart is light, life naturally becomes much easier to breathe through. The Buddha did not teach us to change our circumstances. He taught us to change the way we see them. Because when you change the way you see, the circumstances remain the same, but your experience is different. You do not need to have everything to be happy. You only need enough awareness to recognize what you already have. If today you are feeling uneasy, try asking yourself one gentle question. Am I comparing too much? And if the answer is yes, try setting down one of those comparisons. Letting go is not to fall behind anyone. Letting go is to return peace to yourself. Happiness is not far away. It begins the moment you stop chasing and return to being still within yourself. When the heart is wide enough, afflictions naturally become smaller. And when the heart is at peace, even if life brings wind and rain, you can still smile and keep walking. There's a very quiet fear, the fear of being alone. Learning to live alone without being lonely. There's a very quiet fear in many people's hearts, the fear of being alone. The fear of evenings when no one checks in, the fear of moments of sadness with no one to listen, the fear of a silence that stretches on, as if you are being left behind by life. But you know, being alone does not mean being lonely. True loneliness is when you are surrounded by many people, yet still do not know how to return and rely on yourself. There are days when you are so tired you do not want to talk to anyone, not because you dislike them, but because inside you feel empty. In moments like that, the first thing we often do is look for someone to cling to. A phone call, a message, an external presence. but not everyone is always there. And then, we feel sad, we feel hurt, we feel small in this vast world. The Buddha taught that when you are sad, learn to comfort yourself, not because life is cold, but because no one can walk beside you through every stretch of the road. Your loved ones have their own responsibilities. Your friends have their own lives. Everyone is carrying worries of their own. When you understand that, you do not blame, you do not resent. You simply learn to stand more firmly from within. There is a truth we must accept. No one can take care of us forever. Not because they do not love us, but because each person must walk their own path. When you were small, someone held your hand. When you grow up, you must walk on your own. That is not loss. That is growth. Learning to be strong does not mean not needing anyone. It means not collapsing when no one is beside you. There are times when you do many good things, yet no one applauds. No one praises, no one acknowledges, and no one tells you that you have tried hard enough. And you begin to doubt yourself. But you know, applause is not always necessary. There are things that only require your own conscience to be at peace. When there is no applause, try embracing the silence. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is where you clearly hear your own breath, your own heart, and the things that noise once covered up. Some people only begin to understand what they truly need when they are alone, what they want, and what they no longer want. Being alone is not to escape life. It is to return. Return to the breath. Return to your feelings. Return to yourself. Nature is a very special companion in such moments. No need for conversation. No need for explanation. Just sit quietly. A morning filled with sunlight. A road lined with trees. A gentle breeze passing through. Nature does not ask who you are, does not judge your success or failure, does not demand that you become anything. Nature simply remains there and gives you the feeling that you still belong to this world. The Buddha taught that knowing how to return to nature is a very deep way to calm the mind. When you learn how to sit quietly with yourself without feeling empty, you have crossed a very important threshold. From that point on, you no longer fear loneliness, because you know you can be with yourself without feeling lost. If today you are alone, do not rush to think it is unfortunate. Try asking yourself one gentle question. Am I avoiding this feeling? Or am I learning to listen to it? Perhaps the quiet you have right now is not a void, but a pause that life is giving you. A pause to recover. A pause to reflect. A pause to grow from within. Living alone without being lonely is when you no longer need someone to arrive to fill the empty space in your heart. Because at that moment, your heart is already full. And when you are full, every relationship that comes afterward will no longer be clinging, but companionship. You don't need to do anything, just continue listening. You don't need to do anything, just continue listening. There is something many people only understand when it is already too late. Filial piety, the root of all blessings. There is something very simple, yet the older we grow, the easier it is to forget. That is, when your parents are still alive, it is a blessing. Not a blessing because of a big house, not a blessing because of abundant money, but a blessing because in this world, there is still someone waiting for you to come home, still someone who cares for you unconditionally. When we are young, we often think we have plenty of time. Time to stay busy, time to chase our dreams, time to say, I'll deal with it tomorrow. But time waits for no one, and parents grow old very quietly. One day, you suddenly notice your parents walk more slowly, speak more slowly, and do everything more slowly. They ask again a question they already asked. They retell a story they already told. They drop things. They forget before and after. And if we are not mindful enough, we will feel annoyed. Annoyed because we are busy. Annoyed because we are tired. Annoyed because things are no longer quick and efficient like before. But the Buddha taught that this is not inconvenience. It is an opportunity to cultivate. Cultivation is not only sitting in meditation or chanting sutras. Cultivation is the way we face our parents as they grow old. When parents slow down, that is when we learn patience. Patience to listen one more time. Patience to slow our steps to walk with them. Patience to hold back words that might hurt them. Each time we are patient a little more is each time we plant a seed of blessing. There is a truth that many people only understand when it is already too late. That is, once your parents are gone, nothing can replace them. No one can replace that familiar voice calling your name. No one can replace the feeling of having someone who always stands on your side, even if the whole world turns its back on you. When parents are still here, we think it is normal. When they are gone, we realize it was the most precious thing of all. There is a very real story. A son was busy with work, with his own life, with plans that never had a stopping point. Each time his parents called, he answered in a hurry. Each time he visited, he promised, "Next time, I'll stay longer." But that next time never came. The day his parents passed away, he had everything, except one thing, a chance to do it over. The Buddha taught that filial piety is the root of all blessings. It is not by coincidence that those who live with filial devotion often encounter favorable conditions in life. Because when we are grateful to those who gave us life, our hearts naturally soften and blessings arise from there. Filial piety is not found in lavish meals. It is not measured by how much money you send home. It lies in attitude, a gentle word, a patient gaze, sitting and listening once more, even if you have heard it before. Sometimes, parents do not need us to do anything grand. They only need us to be there with full presence. There are moments when simply putting your phone down and sitting beside them for a while is enough. You know, parents are not afraid of being poor. They are only afraid of being forgotten. When parents grow old, they do not need much. They only need to see their children at peace. They only need to know they still have a place in their children's hearts. If today your parents are still alive, try asking yourself one gentle question. Have I truly been present with them? Not physically present, but present with attention and love. No one is perfect. Parents are not either. They may be clumsy. They may be difficult. They may not understand you the way you hope, but they have spent their entire lives caring for you. That alone is enough for us to learn to soften our hearts. The Buddha does not teach us to sacrifice ourselves blindly. The Buddha teaches us not to forget our roots, and the root of a person is the place where they were born. If one day you stand before an altar, wishing you could hear one familiar sentence again, by then, all regret will already be too late. So while you still can, love fully. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be sincere. A little patience today is a lifetime of peace later. Filial devotion does not take anything away from us. On the contrary, it quietly nourishes blessings in our life. And when the roots are strong, the tree of life will naturally flourish green. Life is most exhausting, not because of lack, but because of too many eyes watching. Don't live for the eyes of others. There is a very strange kind of exhaustion. It does not come from hard labor. It does not come from material lack, but from living too long under the gaze of others. We are tired from trying to guess what they think. We are tired from adjusting ourselves to please the world. We are tired from being afraid of criticism, afraid of judgment, afraid of being misunderstood. But have you ever asked yourself, living like that, are you still yourself? The truth is very simple, yet very hard to accept. No one in this world can please everyone. No matter how good you are, there will be people who do not like you. No matter how hard you try, there will be people who think you are not enough. Praise, criticism, from ancient times until now, have never been absent. The problem is not the praise or the criticism. The problem is how much we allow them to control our lives. There are people who live their whole lives just to hear one word of praise, and then suffer deeply because of one sentence of criticism. They are happy when recognized. They are sad when rejected. Gradually, they forget the most important thing: their own opinion of themselves. The Buddha taught that people suffer not because of what others say, but because we believe those words. A criticism, if we do not keep it in our heart, is only a passing sound. But if we hold on to it tightly, it becomes a burden. There is a very real story. A man lived kindly, worked diligently, never harmed anyone. But just because one time he did not satisfy someone, all the good he had done before seemed as if it had never existed. He was sad. He was disappointed. He asked himself, in the end, why do I live well at all? Until one day, he realized a very clear truth. People have the right to speak, but I do not have the obligation to carry it. Not everyone who understands you will love you. And not everyone who criticizes you is right. People see you through their own lens, and that lens is stained with their experiences, their wounds, and their personal limitations. So why do you use their view to define your life? Living for the eyes of others is like walking in fog. The further you go, the more lost you become. Today they praise you. You are happy. Tomorrow they criticize you. You suffer. A life like that is no different from handing the steering wheel to someone else, while you sit in the back seat and endure the ride. The Buddha does not teach us to be indifferent to life. The Buddha teaches us to live with wisdom, to know how to listen to constructive advice, to know how to let go of harmful words, to know how to remain firm in our true nature without losing compassion. There is a very thin boundary between living kindly and living to be recognized. Living kindly is so that your conscience is at peace. Living to be recognized is because you fear criticism. When you do the right thing, yet still feel anxious about what others think, you are not truly free yet. True freedom is when you can say to yourself, I am not perfect, but I am not ashamed before my own heart. That sentence alone is enough to stand steady under countless gazes. Not everyone needs to understand. Not everyone needs to like you. As long as each night when you lie down, your heart is not tormented. You know, in this world, the hardest thing is not to be loved, but to dare to live true to yourself. To dare not to chase applause. To dare not to fear criticism. To dare to keep your goodness even when it is not celebrated. You may walk more slowly than others. You may not stand out, but you will walk more lightly. And when you are light, your heart can be at peace. At peace, and you will understand that. The eyes of others are only passing clouds, but the path you walk is karma, is conditions, is your own choice. When you stop trying to please everyone, you begin to live authentically. And when you live authentically, you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. As long as each day that passes, you can smile at yourself, that is enough. Because at the end of a human life, what matters most is not what others think about you, but how you have lived with your own conscience. Pause for a moment. If today you are tired from the eyes of the world, place your hand on your chest and gently ask, what I am doing right now, does it bring peace to my heart? If the answer is yes, then please keep walking. As for the rest, let the wind carry it away. Forgiveness can save you, but done the wrong way, it will hurt you even more. Forgive, but not blindly. There is something many people misunderstand, and that is forgiveness. Many people think forgiveness means forgetting everything. It means acting as if we were never hurt. It means opening the door of the heart as before, welcoming back the one who once caused us pain. But it is not like that. The Buddha teaches forgiveness not to tolerate wrongdoing, but to free yourself. When we do not forgive, the other person may have already forgotten, but we still hold on. Holding on to anger, holding on to resentment, holding on to memories that make our hearts heavy every single day. Forgiveness, first of all, is putting down the burden in your heart, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. But letting go of hatred does not mean letting go of wisdom. There are people who unintentionally hurt us, who know how to feel remorse, who know how to correct themselves. With them, forgiveness is a very beautiful path. But there are also people who intentionally cause harm, over and over again, and they treat our tolerance as something obvious. With such people, to forgive and then hand back trust, that is not compassion, it is hurting yourself one more time. The Buddha is compassionate, but the Buddha is not blind. Compassion does not mean placing your heart in someone else's hands, so they may do whatever they wish. There is a sentence worth reflecting on. To forgive someone is to remove the chains in your heart, but to give trust to the wrong place is to bind yourself again. Trust is precious. Not everyone deserves it. Trust is like a fragile vase. Once it falls and shatters, even if you glue it back together, or the cracks are still there, there is a very real story. A man always chose to forgive. Each time he was betrayed, he told himself, well, they also have their own suffering. The first time he hurt. The second time he endured. The third time, he began to grow numb. Not because he was weak, but because he placed his kindness in the wrong place. Until he was exhausted, he finally understood something very important. Not everyone who apologizes means they will change. An apology can be very easy to say, but change is a long process and requires responsibility. The Buddha teaches us to observe actions, not just listen to words. A person who truly feels remorse will not force you to forgive quickly. They understand that trust needs time to be rebuilt. But someone who apologizes only to continue hurting you, no matter how many times you forgive, the wound will only grow deeper. What is true forgiveness? It is when you no longer hold hatred, yet you still keep boundaries. It is when you do not wish them to suffer consequences, but you also do not allow them to step back into your life with the same old muddy shoes. Forgiveness is letting go of the past without losing the lesson. There are people who come into our lives only to teach us something and then leave. Keeping them with blind trust only makes that lesson cost even more. The Buddha does not teach us to become victims. The Buddha teaches us to become awakened. Awake enough to know when to open your heart and when to close it peacefully. No need for hatred, no need for revenge. Just step back to protect your own peace. You may ask yourself, isn't that selfish? No. That is self-respect. Self-respect does not oppose compassion. Self-respect keeps compassion from turning into self-harm. When you love yourself enough, you will understand. Kindness also needs wisdom to guide it. If today you are hesitating between forgiving and continuing to endure, ask yourself one honest question. Is that person truly changing or simply repeating? The answer lies in reality, not in hope. Pause for a moment. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is remembering very clearly, but not allowing the pain to control you. Let go of hatred so the heart becomes light. Keep wisdom so life remains peaceful. When you forgive the right way, you lose nothing at all. On the contrary, you keep your peace and you protect your own value. And that is complete compassion. If today everything disappeared, what would you have left? Medgaiti, impermanence, the key to awakening. There is a truth so obvious, yet the older we grow, the more we avoid it, that everything changes. Nothing remains still forever. Nothing belongs to us permanently, and no pain stays exactly as it was on the first day. The Buddha calls this impermanence. It sounds simple, but to truly understand impermanence is a very deep awakening, because most human suffering does not come from loss itself, but from attachment. We cling to wealth, afraid that one day it will be gone. We cling to fame, afraid of being forgotten. We cling to status, afraid of losing our sense of worth. But ask yourself, when we leave this life, what can we take with us? Money will remain behind, titles will fade, and status will become only a name in the memory of a few people, and very soon, no one will mention it anymore. Human life, when looked at closely, is very much like a dream. In the morning, it is there. By the afternoon, it has changed. Today, we laugh with joy. Tomorrow, we may already turn in another direction. Sometimes we think we are holding very tightly, but with just one small incident, everything changes. An illness, a separation, an unexpected upheaval. And we suddenly realize what we believed was solid was fragile like morning dew. But impermanence is not meant to frighten us. Impermanence is meant to awaken us from the illusion that we control everything, to awaken us to cherish the present, instead of living in anxiety and regret. There is a very real story. A man spent his whole life making money. He believed that once he had enough, he would slow down. He would love more deeply. But by the time he had enough, his health was gone. His loved ones were no longer waiting. And time did not turn back. He did not lack money. He lacked only one thing: awakening at the right time. The Buddha teaches that understanding impermanence does not make us give up. It makes us live more deeply, deep in each moment, deep in each relationship, deep in each breath. When we know everything can be lost, we cling less attached to winning and losing, less attached to being recognized, less attached to keeping people, keeping possessions, keeping images. And when we cling less, we suffer less, not because life has fewer storms, but because our hearts no longer resist so fiercely as before. There are things we once considered huge that now, looking back, are only small ripples. There are people who once hurt us so deeply we could hardly breathe, who later, when remembered, are just a stretch of road already walked. That is not because we became indifferent, but because we understood impermanence, understood that all emotions arise, remain, and pass away, understood that no state lasts forever. Joy will pass, sadness will fade, anger, if not fed, will settle on its own. Like water that has been stirred, if no more stones are thrown in, it will return to stillness. Impermanence teaches us a very gentle lesson. Do not exhaust the present because of fear of the future. The future has not yet come. The past has already gone. Only this moment is real. When we live fully in the present, the heart naturally becomes peaceful. No need for too much, no need for too fast. Just enough awareness to know where we are, what we are doing, and how we are living. Someone once asked, if we understand impermanence, do we still have motivation to live? Yes, even more rightful motivation. We still work, we still strive, but we no longer trade our peace to chase things that we must eventually let go of. We know how to stop at the right time. We know how to release when necessary, and we know how to smile at the changes that cannot be avoided. Pause for a moment. If today you are anxious because of loss, remember, everything comes and goes, and you yourself are changing each day. If today you are suffering because of attachment, try loosening your grip just a little. Not to lose, but to lighten your heart. When we understand impermanence, we no longer live in haste. We live awake. Awake to love while we still can. Awake to cherish what we still have. Awake to let go when the time has come. And when we are awake, the heart becomes peaceful. That is the key that impermanence wishes to offer each of us. After everything, what is the simplest thing the Buddha teaches us? The core of the Buddhist teaching: live lighter so life becomes peaceful again. If we were to gather all the Buddha's teachings in this video into one single thing, it would not be anything lofty, nor any distant philosophy. It is simply to live with a little less greed, less talking, less comparing, less resentment. It sounds very light, but once you can do it, life will change. Human suffering, for the most part, is not because of lack, but because of wanting too much, wanting more, wanting to be ahead of others, wanting to hold on forever, wanting not to lose. But the Buddha teaches, less greed and suffering naturally decreases. It is not about living in poverty, not about giving everything up. It is about knowing what is enough. Enough to eat, then stop. Enough to use, then that is sufficient. When it is enough, then smile. When we no longer chase things beyond our true needs, the heart naturally becomes lighter. And when the heart is light, life presses less heavily upon us. There are people who work relentlessly their whole lives, not because they lack, but because they never feel it is enough. They think that a little more will bring peace. But the more they have, the heavier their hearts become. The Buddha does not tell us to stop striving. He only reminds us, do not let greed steer your life. Then comes speech. The Buddha teaches very little about what to say beautifully, but teaches a great deal about speaking less, because fewer meaningless words leads to fewer troubles arise. Many of life's problems do not come from major actions, but from unnecessary words. A sentence spoken in anger, an extra remark for amusement, a comment thought to be harmless. But words are like arrows. Once shot, though they cannot be taken back. A practitioner is not someone who remains silent forever, but someone who knows when to speak and when to stop. To speak less is not out of fear, but out of understanding. Understanding that not everything needs a response, not every matter requires explanation, and not everyone needs to be convinced. When the mouth speaks less, the mind becomes less disturbed. When the mind is less disturbed, life has fewer waves. Then comes comparison. The Buddha teaches that comparison is the deepest root of restlessness. Less comparison leads to a lighter heart. If you compare yourself with others, you will never feel enough. If you compare the past with the present, you will never feel at peace. If you compare today with tomorrow, you will only create worry. There will always be someone who has more than you. There will also be someone who has less than you. But if you keep looking sideways, you will never see where you are truly standing. When you compare less, you return to your own rhythm of life. No need to be faster than anyone. No need to be like anyone. Just need to be suitable for yourself. Each person has their own conditions. Each person has their own lesson. Comparison only makes us forget which path we are walking. And then resentment. The Buddha teaches, less resentment leads to a peaceful life. Resenting others, resenting life, resenting fate. But resentment does not improve circumstances. It only makes our hearts heavier. Some things are not because someone is wrong, but because conditions have reached a point where they must turn in another direction. When we understand that, we blame less and begin to accept. Acceptance is not surrender. It is ceasing to struggle against what cannot be changed. When resentment stops, the inner world has room to breathe. And when the heart has room to breathe, life naturally becomes peaceful again. On all of the above ultimately returns to one very gentle core. Keep a compassionate heart. Know what is enough. Follow conditions to live freely. Compassion toward others, but also compassion toward yourself. Know what is enough with what you already have. Do not torment yourself with endless desires, and follow conditions. Do not force. Do not cling. Do not resist the flow of life with rigidity. Following conditions does not mean giving up. It means doing your best and then releasing the outcome. Do what needs to be done. Live what should be lived. The rest, let life arrange. Pause for a moment. If today you feel tired, try letting go of just one thing. Less greed, even a little. One less unnecessary sentence. One less comparison with others. One less complaint about circumstances. no need to do more. Just be lighter. The Buddha teaches many things, but in the end, he only wishes for us to suffer less. And when we learn to live with less, we will see happiness, in truth, has never been far away. Do not rush. Let these words stay with you a little longer. Let go so peace has room to enter. Perhaps by now, you have heard many things about words, about anger, about letting go, about conditions and connections, about parents, about the eyes of the world, about forgiveness, about impermanence, about how to live more lightly in a life full of waves. But all of it, in the end, returns to one very simple thing. Let go. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is not losing the battle. Letting go is certainly not running away. Letting go is when we stop gripping tightly the things that have made our hearts bleed for too long. Letting go is when we understand that there are things we keep that only make us heavier. We once thought that letting go meant losing something very important, but the truth is the opposite. And what we lose when we let go is only attachment, resentment, comparison, and desires with no ending point. What we receive in return is peace. Peace does not come when everything is perfect. Peace comes when the heart no longer resists reality. There are things that no matter how hard we try, we cannot change. There are people that no matter how much we love, cannot walk with us for a lifetime. There are phases of life that can only be walked through, not held back. When we understand that, we no longer ask, "Why me?" Instead, we begin to ask, "What is this here to teach me?" And when the question changes, the heart changes with it. Letting go does not make us weaker. On the contrary, letting go at the right time is a very deep form of strength. The strength of someone who does not let emotions drag them away. The strength of someone who dares to look directly at the truth. The strength of someone who knows that not every battle needs to be won. Sometimes, the greatest victory is to stop fighting. Let go of a sentence about to burst out in anger. Let go of a relationship that only exhausts you. Let go of an expectation that keeps disappointing you. Let go of an image of yourself built only to please others. Each time you let go a little, your heart widens a little. And when the heart is wide enough, peace finally has room to enter. You know, peace does not knock loudly. It comes very softly. It comes when you stop arguing in your own mind. It comes when you stop trying to prove yourself. It comes when you allow yourself to be a human being who is not yet perfect. The Buddha does not teach us to escape life, but to live within life without being wounded too deeply by it. To live amid praise and criticism without losing yourself. To live amid gain and loss without suffering from attachment. To live amid love and separation without resentment. Letting go does not make life less challenging, but letting go makes the heart hurt less. And when the heart hurts less, we are clear enough to continue walking. Perhaps today you cannot let go of everything yet. That is all right. Letting go is not something done in a single day. Letting go is a very human process. Each day, just let go a little more. One thought that exhausts you. One unnecessary expectation. One resentment held for too long. Just a little is enough to make life lighter. Before this video closes, take a few quiet seconds. Take one slow breath in. Exhale deeply. And ask yourself one gentle question. Is there something in my heart that I have been holding too tightly? If there is, you do not need to rush to let it go immediately. Simply becoming aware is already the beginning of awakening, because letting go is not losing. Letting go is opening the way for peace to enter. And when peace has a place within your heart, no matter how many waves life still brings, you will always have somewhere to return to. A place very near, very real, and very peaceful.